Hey guys, it's Joe here. Here with another late night session. I recorded uh an episode, and maybe that'll be released further down the line. I don't know. Um I kind of didn't have I kind of didn't plan this out when I first started um putting out the first video on like what I was going to be talking about next. So I was just going to talk about random things. And you know what? It's actually hard to do that um with no plan. So I almost don't have anything. I will say though, I acknowledge that the first one might have been a wee bit too long. And I also acknowledge that um uh that some dust on the computer. Not computer, what you call it, desk. But I also acknowledge that that you, maybe it would have been better to have a plan. So, um, I didn't want to release the second episode that I originally recorded, because if you thought the first one was long, the second one was almost double the time. It was like almost an hour. And basically what I was talking about was K dramas and how the characters were kind of um influential and things like that. And then I went into describing the whole story, and you know, maybe that would be maybe that'll be a release type of thing. I don't know. So, um I will say this. Listen, I'm a gamer, as you can tell from the first episode. Excuse me. From the first episode, um I talked about The Last of Us 2. I just wanted to say I'm kind of bummed out with this generation, being that it's going to be the first console generation that's not going to have an official Metal Gear, as far as I know. And it also seems to me that uh, in every single console generation, PlayStation 2 slash Xbox, because um, they released Metal Gear Solid 2 for the Xbox. On there, they call it Sons of Liberty, I think. No, Substance. Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. Um, and then they call it Sons of Liberty on the PS2. And then, so at that point, it wasn't an official PlayStation thing. But then on PlayStation 2, when they got around to releasing Metal Gear Solid 3, it went back to being a PlayStation exclusive for like a while. And then, of course, Metal Gear Solid 4 PlayStation exclusive. And then when they came out with the HD collection, I believe it existed on like Peace Walker 2 and Peace Walker 2 and 3 Snake Eater, which includes both the original Metal Gears for the MSX and Game Boy or whatever it was. I didn't play those because I can't do it. I even though Metal Gear Solid 1's my favorite Metal Gear, like to this day, I don't think nothing is as magical as the first one. The plot twists, the level of mystery behind it, the boss fights. I don't think anything compares to it. I don't care what anybody says. You know, I don't care what anybody says. Metal Gear Solid 1 has, like, to me is like the best Metal Gear of it all, followed by ooh 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 Peace Walker was pretty good. I don't know who's in that second spot. Probably it's a toss up between 2 and Peace Walker, and let me tell you why. Because as much as people at the time when Metal Gear Solid 2 came out complained about that bait and switch that they did with the character, similar to what, people were complaining about The Last of Us 2 for. I enjoyed what happened with the character, number 1, and using that sword, number 2, and it was kind of weird not using Snake, but it's like, gameplay wise, he did all the same stuff that Snake did, and probably, a little bit more than, because of the sword. But really, because story is really important to me, I appreciated it for its philosophical content. But you don't get that. You don't get that philosophical content until, like, really, like, the last, like, 20 minutes of the game. Discounting the cutscenes. Well, you almost have to include them. So if I was to adjust for that, I would probably say, like, from when Raiden gets captured at Arsenal to, like, the pretty much the end of the game, even after credits roll, that has to be some of the most philosophical stuff in gaming. And get this, it's even still relevant. Talking about, like, go back, like, if you're seeing this and you don't think that's apply, like, okay, it's 2020 right now, right? If you're seeing this in the future, or you're seeing this currently, go back and see how much it applied from, like, 2014 to, like, 2020, and probably even beyond if it gets worse, as far as, social media, cancel culture, and this, that, and the other. Go back and look at that that cutscene where the Colonel was talking about the S3 plan, or not. It was the Colonel, but it wasn't technically the Colonel. Only people who played the game will get that. But where the Colonel was talking about the S3 plan, and people, it was supposed to be the Solid Snake simulation, and it turns out that it was really the selection for societal sanity. And it was explaining, to give you a rundown, it was basically the reasoning why AI had to took all the data in the internet and over the web and digital content and digital data, and like provided context to it. But you have to watch the back and forth exchange between Raiden and the kernel AI, the GW AI. You have to watch that exchange. Listen, the reason why this is so important is because That game was created back in 2001, or at least released back in 2001. Maybe 2000, maybe 2001. I want to say 2001, maybe early 2002, somewhere in there. But I want to say 2001. Definitely after 2001, because there was a cutscene. If you watch the behind the scenes cutscene, they mention how they took out they had to cut out content of the game because of the September 11th attacks, and I think that was a last minute cut. And as you're aware, that kind of happened in the last, like, pretty much the last quarter of the year, that whole incident. So, I mean, that cutscene, watch the back and forth exchange, because Raiden, in my opinion, in my estimation, represents the every person who is the people in his exchange for defending free speech and this, that, and the other, and stuff like that. But the Colonel, where he's like the AI, the GWAI, where it's like, okay, listen, he's an impartial judge because it's no emotion behind it. It's all protocol. It's all this, that, and the other. So it's like, go back and watch that cutscene. Watch that cutscene for how philosophical it is. Even past that point to where, even past that point to people don't. The deepness of Metal Gear Solid 2 almost runs too deep for, like especially really relating to what it is right now, to how it is right now, especially when it comes to all the philosophical things that we're into now. The ideas, the different schools of thought that's being brought forth in the 2010s, the 2020s, really the first like 20 to 30 years of the 21st century, and how it's evolving, and how, over pretty much a 30-year period, economy and all that. I don't know. Who's to say that Metal Gear Solid 4 might not have some deepness that might not be relevant until like another 10 years. And that came out in 2008. 9? 8. 9? Maybe 9. I'm not sure on that. But it either came out 2008 or 2009. But it was set in 2014. It don't matter. But I'm just wondering if there won't be some type of deepness that I won't discover. It's like, it's just exactly like that game had said. And it's like, well, is that really like is that really somebody predicting the future? Like, probably not, but like, there's things that people can say that people actively analyze that, and and it comes off as being highly predictable, or they have an ability somewhat similar to a Nostradamus or something like that, or like a prophet prophesies that. It's like when some dude writes a book like 20 years ago, and then he takes all this data into account, and he's like, listen, this is where I'm seeing the economy going in like the next 10 to 15 years, or the 20 years, or by 2020, or by 2015, or 2025, or 2030. It's like, is he really a prophet? It's like, no, but he has high analytical ability to where it produces almost like the same effect, as if he was a prophet, but he or she was a prophet, but not to say that there's listen. I just think Metal Gear Solid 2 is that cutscene with Metal Gear Solid 2 is interesting, and even if you might not like Metal Gear Solid 2 the game, or Metal Gear Solid as a series of games or a franchise of games, it's like, but that Metal Gear Solid 2, people might forget how deep it runs. That being said, I do, like I said, like I started off saying, I'm kind of bummed out that, this is going to probably be the first console generation that's not going to have a legit Metal Gear Solid entry. Metal Gear Solid 1 had one. PlayStation 2, Xbox had one. PlayStation 3 had one. PlayStation 4, obviously, with Metal Gear Solid 5, the experience, which means Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain had one. I'm not counting Survive for obvious reasons. Well, they're obvious to the people who are fans of the Metal Gear Solid, franchise, but that's pretty much to say that it wasn't, to be mild, people heavily didn't appreciate it. So, didn't appreciate what happened between Kojima and Konami, and the people did not appreciate that. And the project that they put forth with Metal Gear Survive. But I don't know, man. I was kind of hoping that Sony, with this games event, and them kind of purchasing the IP to Metal Gear Solid, I was kind of hoping that. I know it was a long shot, maybe in the next 5 years, but I don't know who you give it to. If PlayStation takes it, who do you license that out to? If Kojima Productions doesn't want it, say he's just done. He's just like, yo, I don't want this back, even if you give it to me. I'm not gonna create any more of these games, even if you give it to me, or at the very least, be like, it's gonna be a long time. It's gonna be another 10, 15 years before I have an idea on what I pretty much said, whatever I had to say with this franchise, Who do you give it to? And then it's like, do you do remakes, reboots? Don't do no reboots. Don't do that to yourself. If you do that, if they do that, don't do that to yourself. Don't play yourself like that. But also, to be honest, I don't know where you can go from there, because it seems like, unless it's like Dragon Ball, right? Can you have Dragon Ball without any of those characters? Can you have a Dragon Ball without Goku or Krillin or Vegeta or Tien? Maybe Tien and Krillin ain't important. I like them, but can you have a Dragon Ball without Goku, Vegeta? Not just one of those characters. You take out all those characters. Can you have a Dragon Ball without that? A Dragon Ball story without that? Maybe if you set it up the right way, maybe there can be, but for instance, they made a Metal Gear entry, Rising Revengeance, with Raiden, but he's still a main character. So if it's you take him out of it and you just gave and you just gave it to if you gave a Metal Gear Solid entry to a character that wasn't in any of the previous games, that's not being portrayed as like, with the plot twist of Metal Gear Solid 5, if you get what I'm saying. That's not portraying as any of the previous characters, or if you're not, if none of the people are involved, even to the point to where it's like, even the side character, even Sunny, when she was in Rising Revengeance, I never played the game, but I've watched gameplay of it. If none of those people are in it, if it's just completely all new cast, all new characters, all, and you never set up for it for the previous entries so that they can pass the torch, so to speak, I don't know how well that would go over. I mean, what do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, I don't know how much that will work. I don't know how much that will work, man. But the first console generation that's not going to have a legit Metal Gear game. And even if they put one out, I'm not so sure that it'd be good. I'm not so sure. I'll say this, they'll try and they'll probably fail. But, I'm talking about Konami, because right now they own the rights to it. But say Sony says, listen, we want this for like 10.2 billion gazillion dollars, or whatever price that, say they say that, we want this, I don't know who Sony could give it to license it out to, like, in the same fashion that, okay, well, Star Wars is controlled by Star Wars is controlled by Disney, but they only license it out to EA. Like, it's not that they're solely exclusive with them, I don't think. Like, not 100%, because I don't know how many games there have been, video games there have been, that haven't been under the umbrella of EA, even post like 2010, 2012, 2015, whenever they allowed that deal to happen. I don't know. But if they do a similar thing, I don't know who they could give it to. I honestly don't know. I can tell you who I don't want to take it. I don't want Bethesda to take it. I don't want Sony to have them license it out to Bethesda, cuz I'm not for sure they'll treat it right. I for sure don't want them to license it out to EA with how they've been behaving. CD Projekt Red would be interesting, but they mainly stick to RPG games, and I don't know how well they would do with a kind of a linear storyline. Who's a good single player studio who's focused on linear storytelling, that has a good track record even in this era of loot boxes and microtransactions, and also not having an RPG background, so to speak? I don't know who you give that to. I don't know who you give that to. You know what? This is starting to be real long too. So I'm gonna I tried to make it shorter. I'm sorry. I tried it. But I've clearly failed. So what I'll do is I'll end it here. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys subscribe. I hope you guys leave a comment. I hope you guys share it. Because I wanna grow this channel. I'm giving it an honest attempt. I really don't know what to do as far as video producing, content producing. I really don't know what to do. So help me out. If you can. Just, it would benefit me greatly. And hopefully I can get to some topics that you guys would like to talk about instead of me just kind of rambling on to myself. So thank you. Thanks for participating or watching this late night session. And I will see you guys in the future. Thanks.